Meeting call to order. Let's do Pledge of Alliance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need to do a roll call.
Commissioner Caldwell,
Here.
Commissioner Guerrero,
Here.
Commissioner Cobble,
Here.
Vice Chair Villaluna,
Present.
Chair Shaw.
Yeah. Want to go to the public comments? Do we have any public comments? None. Close public comments. So next is approval of minutes.
I'll make the motion.
I second.
Maybe the roll call.
Commissioner Caldwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Guerrero,
Yes.
Commissioner Cobble,
Yep.
Vice Chair Luna,
Yes.
Chair Shaw.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
So next, new and old business. So annual recognition of the Fine Arts and Historical Commission.
Good evening, Chair and members of the Fine Arts and Historical Commission. This is the time of year that we have the annual reorganization of the Fine Arts and Historical Commission. At this time, I will open this the floor for nominations for the chair of the Fine Arts and Historical Commission.
I'll nominate our vice chair, CJ.
Second.
Are there any other nominations?
No other.
Call for the motion.
Aye.
Call for the vote.
Commissioner Caldwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Guerrero,
Yes.
Commissioner Cobble,
Aye.
Vice Chair Villaluna,
Yes, thank you.
Chair Shaw. Yes. Motion passes 5-0. Would you like to take your seat at the chair? Chair Villaluna.
Thank you. Let's see. I suppose now we do the nominations for vice chair.
I'll nominate Kelly Colwell.
I second.
Second.
We will take a roll call.
Yes.
Commissioner Caldwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Guerrero,
Yes.
Commissioner Cobble,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shaw,
Yes.
Chair Villaluna.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Mhm.
Are we ready?
Thank you. Okay, so we'll go to item 6B, review and consideration of a potential request for city council approval.
Uh, First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to our new chair,
Thank you, Kathy.
Luna, and our vice chair, Kelly Colwell. And thank you, Parama Shaw, for serving as our chair during the past year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the commission. I'd like to present the staff report to you at this time. This is the review and consideration of the historical cow art piece that the City Council has asked staff to provide information to the commission about an art piece that would serve as our historical art piece in our public art collection. This direction was given by the City Council in August of 2023. In September of 23, staff presented two concepts provided by two artists from Loveland about a historical art piece that was cow-themed. The concepts were provided to the commission, and at that time, after the review of the artwork by Jane D. Decker and Daniel Glantz, the commission did want to have additional artists included for consideration. In following that direction, staff did present another artist to the commission, and that was for Cami and George Lundeen. And I will go through their concepts in a little after discussing what happened after after that meeting and the direction that was given to staff. After the review of these three art concepts, the commission did ask staff to provide a poll to the community so that you could get more information as to how the community felt about what would serve as our history with the cows as being the major industry of the community. At that time, after that discussion, staff felt it was something that we could accommodate. But after bringing it back to other staff members and giving it more thought and consideration, it was felt that this would fall under the council policy 6.02 that would require that we give it further consideration because staff is appointed by council for advisory purposes, but not, the bodies are not permitted to direct staff to use city resources without obtaining prior city council approval. In researching the options that were given to us, staff discussed this with staff members that had previously done a poll of the community for the changing of the names in the library study rooms. Those names were changed from historical, male, contributors of the sciences, and it was brought to our attention that there were no female names. And at that time, staff was directed to conduct a survey and possibly have the names changed for the library study rooms. So in completing a thorough survey through SurveyMonkey, they were able to obtain what they felt were very reliable conclusions, and the city council did take the recommendations from that survey. And it was suggested that the survey for the historical art piece follow in that direction. Given that that took several months and considerable staff time, this request would fall under a similar situation. This took about 3 or 4 months to complete, and staff was able to come to some very reliable conclusions from that survey. So that would be the suggestion of staff to also enter into this survey that is titled SurveyMonkey. If the commission wanted to follow that route, we would have to follow the guidelines pursuant to 6.02 of the policy that was adopted and make that finding and recommendation to staff, and staff would provide a letter to the city council from the commission requesting that authorization to proceed with that study. If the Fine Arts Commission would like to go that route, I would suggest that the letter be reviewed and give consideration to that. If, on the other hand, that at this time, the commission did not want to go forward with an in-depth survey, then we could, at this time, review the 3 concepts that were presented previously, and the commission could make a recommendation either to do the survey by asking city council for approval to do that, or you can also decide not to do the survey and proceed to review the art pieces. So with that, we can stop here and decide whether you want to do the survey, and then we can proceed and end at that point, and then, or we can go ahead, I can present the artwork of the 3 artists.
Was this request ever brought to the attention of the sitting mayor at the time, or any of the other, the rest of the council, or was this kept just within staff as far as the request?
It was just with staff
Okay.
at this point. This has not been brought to the attention of the council.
All right. Yeah, obviously we'd have to go through the council if we were to ask for that, but it is my recollection that we have, because I wasn't here last month, that we've been appointed to give our own personal opinions on this, and direct those opinions to the council to either accept or ignore. Is that not correct?
Well, if the commission did not want to proceed with the polling, continue with asking for a community survey, that would just end at this point.
Okay. Question also: how much extra would the survey cost if we were to conduct it?
The
I
survey,
know there's some email costs, some staff time costs.
yes, it would be mainly in the costs of just staff time. We already have the program for the Survey Monkey that was already purchased and it's still in effect at this point. We could use that same module, but we would it would take probably 80 to 100 hours of staff time, and then also we would put it out for a couple months. So it's, and then research it and tabulate it. So I as far as staff, the cost of staff time, I didn't calculate that, but it's probably,
Ballpark it.
yeah, in the thousands of dollars when we talk about staff time.
Okay. And as now we're the Survey Monkey. Correct me if I'm wrong, but does it charge? Is it an online software that charges on a per email basis with regards to an email blast?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's one email blast. And then when it comes in,
Because I know Constant Contact and other email communication online software do charge on a per email basis with different price points depending upon how many. So it would be for like 1,000, it may be free, and 5,000 it may cost one, and the price escalates the more emails you send out.
I wasn't told of the breakdown of any costs like that. It was my understanding that we have the program, we put out the survey, and then as it comes in, it would tabulate.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not as familiar with SurveyMonkey, but I do know that with like MailChimp and Constant Contact, they do charge on a per email basis. It's how they keep their bottom line as far as their business model. So anyway, just a thought.
And the staff time would not just be my staff time, it would involve staff from other departments also. So that is like the unknown factor.
So it could range from a few thousand to low 10,000s.
Oh, I don't think it would be that. I would say in the lower thousands.
Okay,
Not
and
approaching
we're talking just staff time would be lower thousands.
Yes,
If there's a
yes.
per charge on
Because
the
it would
email.
be a simple survey, just maybe a vote of, 1, 2, or 3 type of thing.
Okay.
So are you sending survey by email
Yes, it would be an online survey.
or online?
Online, yeah. So they could it would probably be put on the city's homepage that you would click on to.
Okay, so it wouldn't be email blast. It would be just on the city's web
I
page.
believe so.
So we wouldn't have the full community probably participating in unless the full community ended up
They were-
visiting the website. We'd only have those who were interested in visiting that on the website.
We would advertise it in our social media.
I think with the SurveyMonkey, you don't actually need an email. You just have to get the link, and you're able to vote for whatever art piece with the SurveyMonkey.
I believe it's supposed to be a very simple process,
Yes.
but it will involve staff time to build the survey and then tabulate and then present the results.
So
But how, if you're putting on a website, how the residents know that there's a survey out there?
I'm not sure about that process.
See, that's how many people really looked at the website. I don't think so that too many people, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the results would be.
The more I'm hearing, the more I think it's best to be in our hands. And then if the city council wishes to ignore what we have to say because they have their own preferences, then they are the ultimate decision makers on this anyway. So that's my 2 cents.
I'm sorry.
On a social media, you said you do that. Do you know how many in the social media? Any like
It's hard to say.
Hard
I
to s-
think when they went out for the vote to obtain information on the changing of the names for the library rooms, I don't think the information exceeded 1,000.
yeah, that's what I thought. So,
So we're talking
not
about
Yeah.
out of
you know,
50,000, roughly 50,000 residents, maybe only a few hundred
yeah,
may actually respond to it.
That's a chance you take. I mean,
yeah,
we don't know. That's an unknown.
yeah, I think so. That's why maybe I don't know. It's a good idea or not to do the survey because participants. I don't see any participant from the resident. You know.
Yeah.
Well, we're
yeah.
talking about, a couple dollars per. We'd be spending a couple dollars per response rather than, less than 50 cents per response. And you probably want your response rate at below 50, ideally below 25 cents per response. So if we're at a couple dollars per response, then I don't know if that is fiscally prudent.
I actually concur with you both, Commissioner, because time is of the essence that we mentioned in the past meeting, and the volume of the response rates is probably not going to be as high as we think we're going to have, and it's going to delay everything else because you had mentioned it takes months to get that survey response, and then
I think in talking to staff, they thought it would be about 3 or 4 months from start to finish.
So we're talking about not having the response by the next meeting. It would be
Right.
not until September that we'd hear back from staff on the survey.
Kelly, did you have something to say?
Just in general, I feel that for this project, we have 3 very solid artists with 3 very solid designs that are actually somewhat similar. We, as a commission, have been appointed by the city council members to speak on behalf of the residents. So doing something like this will cause delay in the project, add cost to the project. And, it seems to me that the best way forward is just for us to make that selection and that recommendation to council. So I would make a motion to do that.
I agree. I don't recommend to carry out any more surveys. I think we've spent, along with the staff, has spent a good amount of time on this already. I think we should move. I agree with Matt that maybe we can decide on a piece and move it, let the council receive it, and then go from there.
Yeah. In the end, it is the council's decision because they
Anyway.
are the elected body.
Correct.
Yes. This body is advisory,
Correct.
and your recommendation would be presented to the city council, and it would be still their prerogative to move forward with another art piece if they chose to do that.
Sure.
Since I think not getting too much survey response is not worth it in my is in rather what the Kelly suggestion. I think we should go on that route, so it's quicker. And
So
not
look,
get-
I'll second Kelly's motion to move forward and just move to the actual consideration of the three pieces up.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
So the motion is to move forward and review the art pieces and not consider the survey at this time.
Correct.
Yes.
and I think we can do this
it-
just with a voice vote, and we don't need a roll call.
Okay. Do you want to take?
Oh.
Okay, so at this time, we will go over the art pieces again, and I will present each artist, and then I guess we'll start the PowerPoint. PowerPoint, okay, so the first artist we're going to review is, and these are in alphabetical order. So there's no preference. So the first one we'll start with Jane Diegdecker. Next slide. And she has proposed an art piece called Milking Time. This would be cast in bronze, and there are several different pieces within the artwork. Next slide, please. So it's got the main character, of course, is the cow. On one side is the farmer and a little girl with her cat, and she has a bowl in her hand, and she's waiting for the farmer to give her milk for her cat. On the other side is a little boy with a feed bag, and he's feeding the cow. Next slide, please. And these are more views of the clay model. And the art piece, if the commission so chose, would be, the cow would be patinaed in the black and white pattern. And there would be a light colored patina, most likely, on the other figures. Next slide, please. These are more pictures of the clay model. And you can see the detail, and she sculpts more in a free form type of sculpture. And then keep in mind also that these are clay models, and the clays are very much like the rough draft of the art piece. So they will be more refined and more detailed. Next slide, please. And you can see that there's considerable amounts of pieces in this that will be sculpted. The cost of the art pieces will be about $264,000. This does not include the shipping and installation, the travel of the artist or her representative, and the foundations and the footings. We have not at this point selected a location for the art piece, and that would be something that would be considered at a later date. The size of the art piece is life size plus 10 to 25% over life size, depending on the budget. Jane D. Decker has been an artist that has been sculpting since the 1990s, and she specializes in the human figures, a lot of children and animals. Her artwork is stylized, somewhat free-form and contemporary. Next slide. This gives some of the details of her proposal. Next slide. And these are pictures of some of the previous artwork that she's done. This is something that is in our sculpture garden, the Elements, and it's a fountain of 4 human figures, ladies. Next slide. And here she is showing the sculpting of animals and children. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. This is the proposal by Daniel Glantz. He is also an artist from Loveland, and his proposal is just titled at this point, Dairy Cow. Next slide. So this is his proposal of a young boy milking the cow. And this would also be in a life-size version with approximately another 10 to 25% increase in size, depending on the budget. His sculpting is a little more traditional. It's a more realistic approach. And Daniel Glantz has been a public art artist and has major exhibitions, and he has been doing this since the early 2000s. Next slide. And these are different angles of the art piece. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. And this begins the showing of his previous works that have been installed. Next slide. Next. 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 This is the third artist, and this is presented by Cami and George Lundeen. And this is a rough sketch of their version of what they would propose as our historical piece called Hugs and Holstein. And Cami Lundeen has been sculpting since the 80s. And she has very traditional and detailed artwork. Next slide. Next slide. As you can see, she has a lot of experience in sculpting large animals. Particularly, her interests have been horses, but she does do other animals as well. And she does a lot of children and human figures. The cost of her art piece to the city would be approximately $275,000. And that does not include all of the other costs like engineering and delivery, installation, similar to the other artists. Next slide. Next. 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 And I think one more. Is there one more? Oh, okay. So that concludes the presentation of the different artists. And you can see that the styles are somewhat different. Their approach and their communication of their artwork are vary in many ways. So I would open this up for discussion to the commission to discuss what your preferences are and what your recommendation will be to the city council, if any. And at this time, this concludes my remarks about the different art pieces. And I would answer any questions that the commission may have as it relates to the artwork.
The all the pricing in the packet is are for the same type of costs, correct?
I'm sorry.
I'm not saying that the prices are the same, but what's quoted is for the same
For their
types of things.
Yes, it's very similar. I would have to say that those were the prices that were submitted to us. It's been a little time. The prices could be subject to change. They have not had, I would say, a formal bid on the work yet because it was not an approved art piece for them. So once it's approved and they can put the total package together, we'll have a better understanding. But this is a good estimate at this point. This will give us a comparison of where they stand.
So Daniel Glantz at $204,875 is the lowest bid, and
Yes.
Jane DeDecker and Cami and George Lundeen are roughly equivalent in pricing. With Jane DeDecker's at $264,875 and Cami and George Lundeen at approximately $275. But Jane DeDecker and Daniel Glantz's are older bids, so those bids could have gone up in price as well.
Yes, they could have. I was.
And that doesn't include transportation, installation.
Yes, yes. All of those costs would be added on at a later date. Things could also change in the pricing if you were to ask one of the artists to add another figure or to delete a figure. That could change it. Like Jane DeDecker has a lot of pieces in her concept. And if you were to say, let's not have the little boy or the little girl, that could bring it down a little bit. If you asked Daniel Glantz to add another figure, that could bring it up. Because if you look at his, he only has the cow and a small child. If
Yeah,
you
the little
asked
boy and his stool.
Right. If you asked Daniel Glantz to make that a life-size male figure, that would increase it. So there's, and that is also the prerogative, it's up to the commission to recommend that any changes to the concept.
My personal preference is for a more traditional, realistic approach, which is what the Lundins and Daniel Glantz put out in their pieces. The question is, do we go for the lower price of the two bids or not?
Is Decker the only one that does a color patina?
Color piece,
Correct.
all of the artists can have said that they would do a colored patina if requested.
Does color patina increase the price?
I would say it probably does, but probably not significant.
Okay.
Question: what is in the arts fund? Where does that currently stand, and what are the projections going on? I know we have a couple of pieces that we're constructing, the public safety one, as well as
Yes.
some of the other pieces.
The public safety, the cost of that project has already been, is already set in place. So that is, has been already taken out of the art fund. The art fund has approximately $600,000 in it, with probably some growth within the next, within the next year. One of the art projects that is being considered, it is the request of the city that an art piece be put there at the Kia site and not a contribution to the art fund. And that was kind of significant. That would have been about $100,000 contribution. But that, in the review of the entitlements, when it was brought before the Planning Commission and the City Council, and also the review by staff, it was directed that an art piece be put at the site. So staff is working with them. So that's it could have been a major contribution, and that's one of the bigger projects that I'm aware of right now. So I don't know what other major developments will be coming that we would have a significant contribution. We will have some smaller ones.
Okay, so we have plenty to cover this.
Oh, there is money to cover this art piece.
Okay.
If it was to, stay around the 300,000.
300 or less.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We could easily reduce the price, again, because you mentioned the size. And so less material, because you're saying life size plus 10 to 25%.
Well,
Yes.
it looks like with Jane DeDecker and Daniel Glantz, we're basically talking about either removing pieces or adding pieces, but the size, there's more room with Daniel Glantz's sculpture because he already has what's there. He could make slight modifications to the molds, but it looks, or are these just the models? These
are just
maquettes.
These are just in the clay right now. There's no mold that's been made.
No,
yet.
but I mean maquette size rather than.
I'm sure that these are like small, sculpted.
So you don't have the detail that you would with the larger piece.
Yes, right. These are like a rough draft, just kind of very conceptual. The total detail is not there because they are just in clay.
In
Because
model
it takes
size.
it just takes a lot of time to to do the detail right now. As you can see, like Hugs and Holstein's wasn't even clay, it was just a sketch. And when I asked for a concept, I did not say what it had to be of. And it was, I think some artists, rather than sketch on with pen and paper, would rather work with the clay. So, and that's why they were presented in that way.
And just a question, the maintenance and upkeep for each piece, regardless, will be the same? Or will it be different?
Each piece would be this.
The same material, right? So the upkeep and maintenance for all, regardless of which piece we decide on or
Well,
we
if
recommend, will be the same?
I think if we go with the bronze, it for whatever it's the same. The moment you add patina, I think it increase. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if we add a patina, a colored patina to any of them, it would increase the maintenance costs to some degree.
Maintenance costs? No, I don't think
No?
so.
Oh.
I think actually, if it's like the black and white patina, might be easier to maintain than bronze, just the straight bronze, because the patina doesn't. Once it's painted, I don't think it.
It acts as
So-
weatherproofing.
It's not color proofing. I think
No, I
it-
said weatherproofing.
weatherproofing. I just don't think it oxidizes as much if it's got the colored patina on it.
I know that we have some other pieces in the city that have the patina that need to be redone.
Yes.
Is that correct?
In
So
fact,
how long does it, how many years goes by before something like that would be needed?
The best example is the Amaryllis fountain.
Mhm.
That is supposed to have a high colored patina on it, and because it's in water, it's like hasn't held up as well. These will not be in water, and these will be more of a straight maintenance. It should be easier.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would recommend the Jane DeDecker piece. I have liked that from day one. And again, considering that the model that we're seeing, this clay is, as Kathy said, a rougher version than the final piece would be. And if you look at some of her final pieces, they have more detail and they are more realistic looking. But I just like the interaction with the children. The cat, again, it lends a humorous kind of feel to it. You've got the farmer who is, a worker, maybe an old city resident, like a lot of us are, doing his thing with his cow. It's not just, I like the girl hugging the cow as well, but with the farmer doing the milking, this is like, he's earning his living. He's, working his farm, whatever. But then you've got these children, this next generation kind of. So I would definitely support that overall. Although, all three of them are wonderful, but that's my choice, my first choice.
I agree with her. I like the DeDecker. I think we both liked her from the beginning. I am favoring the color patina.
And knowing that the maintenance, I assume that the patina also would be higher
too.
maintenance. But if you're saying no, then again, this would make it a much more special piece, I think, because so many of the bronzes or the sculptures around the city don't have that. So it would really make it stand out.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, all of the cows in any of the artist concept
Could have
can
that.
have that black and white patina.
Okay, yeah.
I agree with you too. I like the milking time with Jane DeDecker. I think it depicts what Cerritos is. It's about the parents, if that's the dad or a farmer, but it's symbolizes community and love for the environment and the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because I'm a dog person, but I think given the question marks that we have with regards to whether or not the bids are going to go up in price because of how old the bids are, as well as any changes that we may want to add down the line, or council may want to add down the line. I'm preferring Daniel Glance's Milk and Cow at 204, 875. To keep it under the $300,000 budget, because you also add in installation and transportation costs, and the 204 may go up, as would the 264 875, just because of how old the bids are, and
What
when
was
you
it-
add in installation and transportation. Yeah,
I was told that for the artists Daniel Glantz and Dee Decker, that they felt that if a commitment was made by August, that they felt confident that the estimated cost would be similar to what was proposed.
What was our, I apologize, what was our estimate price on the milking time for D. Decker?
264 875.
260,
Oh, correct.
265?
Two-
About there.
Yeah.
Okay, correct. And that still brings us under, Kathy, under,
We
our
probably have
budget?
to subtract pieces from hers if she goes up a little bit when you add in installation, transportation, and other costs.
I would think
That aren't covered in the bid.
I would think installation, transportation, engineering, those costs would probably be about, and the foundations, maybe another $20,000 to $25,000. It also depends on what site is selected, if it has to have
I
more
was
work
thinking 15 to 30.
to stabilize or level and what's around it that has to be maybe demoed.
I'm thinking it was just based off of the strength of the maker statue, as well as the public safety piece. Just remembering back what those installation and transportation costs are, I was thinking somewhere between 15 to 30 as the ballpark. But if it's 20 to 25,
Maybe.
we're close, depending upon if we get this in before August, or
Well,
so before the next meeting. It is basically our timeline. With regards to, unless if we start deducting pieces from the Jane deductor piece, like getting rid of the cat, just having the kids and whatnot, would subtract some off that price and whatnot.
well, if you do that, you change the concept, but that's,
You don't change it too much.
you change the storyline.
We're looking at a piece here that is representative of our city and our city's history. And it just seems like, while we have to be mindful of cost, obviously, we have a budget. We've got to be mindful of that, of course.
I'm just thinking of a
But
3,000.
changes are going to be made throughout this whole, I think it still has to go to council. We don't know what they think, what they prefer. And so, what we see today as concepts is going to change over time, and that's guaranteed. Plus this, minus this, larger size, smaller size, patina, no patina, whatever the case is. I mean, at the moment, we're not buying anything tonight. We're not.
We're just giving
We're-
our recommendation.
Of course. And so it seems like let's go with, a little bit with the head, but a lot with the heart as far as what do we think is going to represent this city and be the best representation for this city. It just seems like, why are we skimping at this point?
I agree. I agree with Commissioner Caldwell. I think, are we able to make a motion? Can we make a motion tonight? Am I allowed to do that? I'm learning.
You're the chair.
Do you want to comment?
Yes, I'd like to motion that we go with DeDecker Milking Time patina, colored patina.
Second that.
We have a motion on the floor by Chair Biazina, second by Vice Chair Caldwell, and I am going to activate the vote. And this is for the Dedecker piece with colored patina.
Oh, I don't have mine. Oh, sorry.
One more. Anybody? There we go. Thank you. So motion passes 4-1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on to 6C, if I'm not mistaken. Status report for Public Arts Project.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to give a brief update on particularly the public safety art piece. Next week, we will start the construction of the plaza. So as of this Saturday, it's my understanding that we will start, our staff will start taking out the sod in front of the sheriff's station. And we're going to have a construction fence put around there, and they will start the concrete work sometime next week. The art pieces are complete in Loveland. They have been cast and they're ready, with the exception of the patina. They have not put the patina on yet. They were going to do that just before they ship them to the city. The walls and the granite memorial pieces are still in Vermont, and it's anticipated that the plan is that everything will be shipped to the site when they're ready for them. They don't want to store them in between, because the more you handle the stone and the art pieces, the potentially more damage can occur, particularly with stonework. We are anticipating that the art pieces and the walls will be installed in July, August, and hopefully by late August, the project will be complete, and we will have a dedication of that plaza. As it relates to the website update, staff and this includes all the departments in the city. They're continuing to finalize their parts of the website. Everyone is, all the departments are putting in and updating the website with new information, and whatever permits and applications that can be put online will be, we're trying to put online and make everything very easy for our residents and our patrons. So we are anticipating that completion of the website will be in the early summer. The history component is being completed by the library and the Office of the City Clerk. And I've been assured that once the new website is launched, the commission will have the opportunity to review and comment on the history component of the website, and ask for, any other things that could be included. The art piece, Molding Our Future, we have met with the design team, and we're trying to build a concept for the installation of that piece, and that will be somewhere in the sculpture garden. At this point, there is discussion of a possible water element that is not large, but it will have some light water flowing through it. And also, the landscape plans are being developed that will best show the artwork in its place. That at this time concludes any updates that I have on what is going on with the public art. And that concludes what I have in that area. So this time we can go to 7.
Thank you, Kathy. Oh, I can't. There we go. 7A, reports from the Fine Arts and Historical Commissioners. Anyone?
Question. Where are we with regards to the website rollout? I know we're holding off on the virtual, the Cerritos Virtual History Museum until we get a report back on that.
The report from staff will come back after the website is launched. The library is working on the history component, and they're still building a part of that. And once that's launched, the commission, it will be open to the public at that point, but the commission can comment, and the staff will come back to the commission and make a presentation to you and receive your comments at that time.
Okay. I'm just wondering what's the timeline as far as when
Probably, I would say, I'm hoping for the July meeting. If it's launched by then, staff has said in early summer, everything should be out.
So I know from our January meeting, the target date was late May, early June.
Yes.
So we're still on track for that, or are there?
It's probably delayed a little bit, because there's a lot.
So maybe early to mid June, or
Maybe June, July, but I'm hoping that.
Late June, early July.
Yeah, I'm hoping that staff, the library staff and city clerk's staff can make some updates to the commission in the July meeting.
Yeah.
Michelle, oh, did you have something? No, okay. Anyone? No, okay. Before we adjourn, I'd like to thank all the commissioners for your nomination and your vote to be chair for the year. I appreciate it. I'm humbled. Thank you. And I think we can adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Good night.